Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving into the story of a document that, um, literally shook Christianity. It's like almost a manifesto for a new way of thinking about faith.
That's right. It's hard to believe that something penned over 450 years ago could still have such a powerful impact.
Exactly. I mean, imagine a time when Europe was burning with conflict, and here comes the Heidelberg Catechism, which wasn't born in calm discussion, but in utter chaos.
So, we're talking about a document that came out during the Protestant Reformation, right?
Yes, absolutely. It was 1563, a period when the Holy Roman Empire was tearing itself apart. You had Lutherans clashing, Calvinists breaking away, and the Catholics, well, they were on a mission against heresy.
It's almost like the perfect storm of religious conflict, a real powder keg situation.
Right. And smack in the middle of all that was the small scholarly town of Heidelberg.
Yeah,
It was here that Elector Frederick III, a ruler with a clear problem, sought unity among his divided people.
so his vision was essentially to build a bridge between these conflicting groups, ranging from Lutheran to Calvinist?
Exactly. Frederick III wanted a uniform confession of faith that could, basically hold his fractured territory together. And his solution was brilliant. He commissioned two young theologians, Zacharias, Ursinus, and Caspar, Olevianus, to draft something that would be both, well, poetically stirring and theologically solid.
It's pretty remarkable that two relatively young scholars were chosen for such a monumental task, isn't it?
It sure is. And get this, within just a few months they came up with a document of 129 questions and answers. The real kicker? The opening question, asking, "What is your only comfort in life and in death?"
Yeah, that question really hits home. It's like an invitation to feel deeply connected instead of fearing the end.
Exactly. The answer, that we belong entirely to, our faithful Savior Jesus Christ, really shifted the focus from institutional fear, like, the terror of hell or the rigidity of church hierarchy, to a more personal, intimate relationship with God.
That's a major shift. It's almost as if it democratized faith, taking it out of the hands of a powerful priesthood, right?
Spot on. It dismantled the traditional power structures by denying ideas like transubstantiation and the notion that the Mass was a sacrifice, even challenging Lutheran ideas about Christ's physical presence in the communion elements.
Wait a minute. So it even went against some of Luther's teachings? That must have been hugely controversial at the time.
Absolutely. It was a bold move. Politically and theologically, it was a rebellion. Not only did it upend established doctrines by shifting focus to personal faith and comfort, but it also directly challenged the Catholic Church's established authority.
I can see why that would set off alarm bells. And it wasn't just a local phenomenon, was it?
Oh no, not at all. Once printed, the Catechism spread like wildfire, smuggled into secret presses, passed hand to hand in underground churches, and even carried across continents by refugees. In the Netherlands and later in America, it became a cornerstone of Reformed and Presbyterian traditions.
That's incredible. It's like this small document became a kind of spiritual passport for reform and unity.
Exactly. And, its influence wasn't limited to just religious thought. It also played a significant role in shaping political dynamics. It helped define national identity, draw battle lines among kingdoms, and even, inspired a sense of democratic impulse that carries over to modern ideas of freedom and conscience.
Wow, so it wasn't just a theological piece, but also a catalyst for broader social and political change.
Right. And that's what makes it so fascinating. It comforted people on a deeply personal level, giving them the assurance that faith wasn't something you had to negotiate through ritual alone. It was an intimate matter
Right.
of the heart.
But then, doesn't that kind of personal faith also sow the seeds for diverse interpretations? I mean, were there disagreements later on?
Oh, definitely. Even as it united people, its very open and personal tone led to fierce debates. In some parts of Europe, pastors were even punished for interpreting its words too freely, and entire congregations split over how to take a single question. It's ironic, isn't it, that a text meant to promote unity ended up causing new conflicts?
That's a fair point, and I'm a bit skeptical. Couldn't that ambiguity have been a flaw from the beginning?
It's a valid challenge, but consider this. Its strength lay in its ability to speak directly to human experience. It was like, the Catechism reached right into the core of human doubt and offered comfort. And that, in return, allowed for a kind of freedom of belief, even if it meant that different groups later clashed over its interpretation.
That makes sense. Sometimes ambiguity can be powerful if it leads to introspection and personal conviction rather than dogmatic enforcement.
Exactly. And over the centuries, its reach only expanded. Translated into dozens of languages, used in schools, memorized by children, it didn't just shape doctrines, but also the very vocabulary of Protestant life. Words like comfort, faith, assurance, and gratitude became embedded in everyday language.
It's almost poetic how a document like this could weave its way so deeply into culture.
Absolutely. And get this, its influence wasn't confined to Europe. When settlers crossed the Atlantic, they brought this text with them. It became, as some historians argue, a foundational element in the identity of the early Reformed and Presbyterian traditions in America, helping shape a broader religious conscience.
Yeah, so it really was like a blueprint, steering not just theological thought, but also the ethical and political frameworks of emerging nations.
Right on. It's almost like it was a manifesto for personal freedom and belief, and even, in a sense, political independence from established hierarchies.
That's fascinating. And how did people at the time react to such a revolutionary document?
Oh, the reactions were wild. Catholic bishops and Jesuit scholars branded it as blasphemy, dubbing it spiritual poison. Figures from both sides of the Reformation, Lutherans and even other reformers, accused Frederick III and his collaborators of heresy. One legendary moment was when Frederick, standing before the emperor, boldly declared that he would rather lose his crown than betray his conscience.
Truly remarkable. That takes a lot of guts. Almost a proto-martyrdom in the realm of faith.
Exactly, and that act alone elevated him to a heroic status among Protestants. It wasn't just a theological document anymore, it had become a political and cultural emblem.
And, it's intriguing to think that what began as a measure to unite a divided territory evolved into something that redefined entire cultural identities.
It really is, and even today, many who recite its words in church have no idea of the peril and passion that birthed them. This document, with its gentle tone and profound questions, carries the weight of centuries of conflict and, transformation.
That's the enduring power of words, especially when they're born out of such turbulent times. I mean, it shows how beauty and rebellion can coexist and even propel society forward.
Absolutely. And while it's been 450 years, the Heidelberg Catechism's message about comfort, personal connection to faith, and standing up for one's conscience still resonates. It's like a timeless reminder of what it means to, truly belong.
And that, ultimately, makes it much more than just a historical artifact. It's a living legacy that continues to influence modern thought and identity.
Exactly. And it opens up fascinating discussions about how religious, social, and political ideas are so interwoven. The Catechism wasn't just about doctrine. It was about redefining truth and agency in a time when everything was, up for grabs.
I love that perspective. It challenges us to consider how ancient texts can still speak profoundly to contemporary issues.
Right. And that's why understanding its story is key. It reminds us that faith isn't static. It evolves, it rebels, and sometimes it even unites the most divided of people.
It's been a riveting discussion. I'm definitely reevaluating my view on how historical documents influence modern society.
Same here. And, it's a great reminder that behind every text there's a story of human triumph, conflict, and transformation.
Absolutely. Thanks for walking us through such a fascinating journey into the past and showing us how those 450-year-old words still have, modern-day gravity.
Anytime. And remember, Sometimes those forbidden truths from history are the ones that shape our future.
Cheers to that, and thanks for tuning in, everyone.